Welcome back to the Motherhood Collective Co. Hi.
Hi.
I don't know what else to say to open.
I feel like that was a really fast week.
I feel like,
I was driving over here and I'm like, wow, it was already a week ago?
well, we're just kind of like, that was literally our first episode that, no, it wasn't. Yeah, I mean, we had the break.
Yeah.
We just haven't been super consistent together because we
Right.
both had babies this year. So
Yeah.
I think doing 2 episodes back to back, it's kind of like, whoa.
I know. It's fun though. It's fun to have rhythms.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of rhythms, it's the new year. And we'll talk more about this next week, but I feel like all of my quarterly resolutions are like taking up most of my day. Like
Yeah.
I like get done with all my resolutions and I'm like, it's 3 p.m. What to do now? You know?
Yeah. I didn't have the capacity to even set like big goals this year. I just set like themes. So
Yeah.
I just set like, these are the things that I want to be more present in my life. And I wrote them down. I said, if it doesn't fit in one of these categories, it's not going to be a priority in my day. So I don't know. I feel like Brittany and I are very goal oriented people and we've done that. So I've got the fitness thing down. I spent years on my gym routine. Don't need that. Health wise, fine. Don't like food wise, don't need it. It's more like my lifestyle that I felt like needed changed.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been working on. And so far it's been really great and a lot of fun being like more present
Yeah.
with the kids and not worrying so much about, I don't know, everything else.
Yeah. I know. That's a good goal. But I recently, and I don't know if this has been a trend for a while, I just saw like everybody talking about what was in and what was out for their 2024. And obviously that's going to vary amongst person to person, but
Yeah. Like what's in for you and what's out for you. I feel like that's what I've been seeing. It's like, this is on my Instagram page, what's in and what's out.
Yeah. And I like made a list on my phone. I had fun with this because I feel like there's just some things that need to die and things that need to be born.
I have a handwritten list. Everything I do is handwritten.
Yeah.
So.
Good.
So I've got my list too.
And then also we asked you guys about some of yours and we can kind of dive into those at the end of the episode too, because that would be fun to hear.
And they're basically all the same. We attract one type of person, which I love. I freaking love that. You guys are all our best friends because they literally I think there was I don't know how many answers, but there was 2 answers really.
That's so funny. I know. There definitely are like trends. And I feel like our generation is so in tune with one another, especially with motherhood. And so it's kind of fun to hear
I love our
how
generation.
everybody's process is going. I know.
Freaking love millennials. I'm
I
so
think we're
proud
doing
of us.
really good.
I think we kick butt. I
Yeah.
really do.
Yeah.
We are a generation of cycle breakers and conscious parenting and just, I don't know, being mindful of your own crap. So you're not
like healthy communication. Yes. Yeah, totally. Like trauma awareness and healing that.
Yeah. Proud of us.
Yeah, I am too. I am too. Okay. So should we go through like all of the ins and then all of the outs, or should we kind of like go back and forth about ins and outs? How do you want to do it?
Like very the in and out.
They're
is the
correlated.
Same thing.
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
So maybe you do an in and out and I'll do an in and out.
Okay. Some of, okay. I get what you're saying. Okay. So I feel like one of my biggest ins is less clutter and oversimplifying, which means out would be over consumption and consumerism,
Oh, I love that.
unnecessary consumerism. So falling for all of the ads. I get such a high getting rid of things and taking bags of stuff to Goodwill and kind of stretching my muscle of like, what can we go without? I love that. So stoked to do that.
Do you know what? I started following, oh gosh, I told your sister about her and I've already freaking forgot her name. Her podcast is Money Love. I follow her on Instagram too, but she came across my feed one day and she goes, let me de-influence you. And I freaking love that term.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about all the crap you don't freaking need. You don't need that pink Stanley right now. You don't need it. Don't buy it. And I love that.
I know.
Like, let me root you on about the crap
There
you
are
don't
so
need
many
in your
like
house.
big name brands that I will go around and just be like, let me tell you, I tried that. It is not worth it. So yeah. Let's be de-influencers.
De-influencers.
Yeah. Positively de-influencers.
Well, only
we're not
tell
just
you
going to
things
rain on
that
every
you-
parade, but
I know. Like if it's something really cool. Like I think we've both been talking about buying, like if we're going to buy clothes, they're going to be good clothes. Like for my kids especially, I don't really buy clothes for me that much, but for my children, I'm I'm done going to Target and buying the cheap crap at Target that I'm not going to use again.
I know.
Because it's going to get a hole in it. It's not the greatest like quality stuff. So I'm going to go to a place I know that's really good quality that I will use for all of my babies.
Was that one of your ins? Because that was one of my ins.
No, it's just something that I'm passionate about.
Okay.
I've been that way for a while. But
I was like, my in was quality over quantity. And that is everything from like friendships to your clothes.
I love that.
So really zeroing in on like for friendships, like who are the people that give me life and who's available for the depth of a relationship that I'm looking for right now, and just really hone in on them. But then in your closet, it's like, quality over quantity. Am I ordering all this stuff on like fast fashion? Out.
Yes.
We're going to intentionally build our wardrobes.
Yes.
And if that means I have 4 pairs of shoes, I have 4 pairs of shoes, but they're high quality and they work and they fit me and they are versatile.
And didn't we say the other day, both of us only ever wear our cloud slip-ons? Like all summer. I still, I just took food to Bailey, our neighbor, and I wore my cloud slip-ons. And when I go get my lashes done, I'm like, I don't know what to put on my feet.
They're my shoes that live on my front porch. So I'm like, I don't care what happens to them, but then they end up matching everything and they're comfy.
But so like, why are we so worried about having a lot of fashionable shoes?
No, exactly. Exactly. I feel like that's the thing is like, when you're really honest, it's a lot easier than you think.
Yeah.
So,
one of my ends. So my out is checking my notifications when I first wake up in the morning.
Ooh, good one.
My in is connecting with God and each member of my family. So instead of connecting to my phone when I wake up, I'm going to read my scriptures. I'm going to make sure there's been intentional connection with Brady, Lily, Noah, Seamus, Honey. And then I will get to my phone. I love that. Yeah. Honestly, I'm a little embarrassed at how hard that is. I am so used to, like, I wake up and Lily will feed. So I'm kind of just sitting in bed and I'll just grab my phone and I'll open Instagram and like scroll through reels. Yeah. It's been super hard. I'm like having to remind myself, no, I haven't read my scriptures yet. Put that down. Put that down. So, but I have noticed a huge change just in, 2 weeks into 2024. A very big change in my capacity with my children, in the amount of joy I'm experiencing, like in homeschooling. Like I'm legit sitting on the floor with my child and I'm having so much fun. Yeah. It doesn't feel like a chore. It feels like, oh my gosh, I get to do this. Yeah. So I'm noticing big shifts and it's just 2 weeks in. So I'm definitely like checking the boxes of who I'm connecting with before I connect with social media.
I love that so much. And when we talk next week about resolutions, I'll share more about that for me too, because it's just like a muscle you have to kind of work out. And then it becomes routine and pattern and you don't know what to do without it being that way.
And we're all addicted to our phones, and rightly so. They're so useful. And I feel like it's hard to not be addicted when the apps that we use are literally programmed to make our brains addicted. Yeah. Right? They track like our brain patterns. Yeah. They know what ads to show us at what time, what reels to show us at what time, because they know what's going to keep us on the app, because that's how they get money. So, I mean, I don't know. Gosh. It's not our fault that we're addicted to our phones.
I know. We're the first generation navigating all of this. So the awareness is good and it'll get better. I would say, honestly, along the lines of that, which one should I talk about? I would say, for me, resting without guilt in toxic productivity to the point where I am dead by the end of the day, out, because I will drive myself into the ground with to-do lists, and I love them so much. And I love feeling productive. That's, if I'm honest, I'll choose productivity over most things. If I can just like feel like I'm getting enough things done, I feel good about myself. But if I decide to like take a nap with Ledger or sit down on the ground and do something that my brain doesn't view as productivity, I'm not going to feel guilty for that. I'm going to allow myself to rest, if my workouts are getting way too intense and I'm like, I need some rest, I'm gonna rest without feeling like crap about myself.
That was a big learning curve for me in 2023, because after Noah, I really got into weightlifting and my body became capable of things that they're no longer capable of right now postpartum. And it's been so hard that I can't just go back to doing what I was doing before. And like I'll get an injury, and like right now I have an injury and I'm like, okay, this whole week I've got to take off until it's actually better, because I cannot, I mean, I have to, my body's important.
I know.
Like to keep my family running. It's important. So like that is hard.
Yeah.
It is
super hard.
It is hard. And I feel like I'm the same way with productivity, but I do have like one of my outs was like productivity for the sake of productivity. And one of my ends was productivity so that my hands can be a tool for the Lord. And I've been intentional with my prayers of like, how can you use me to serve somebody today? And that I've done that a lot. That's something that Brady is good at. And I think that's what makes him so successful in practice is like, he prays about all of his patients, but something I've been doing, and it's like, I just get inspiration to text someone like, can I cook a meal for you this week? Do you need something? Like, or I'll call my aunt and she's having a really bad day. You know what I mean? So like, I want to be productive, but I want to be productive with a purpose outside of my own.
Yeah. I love that. You're really good at that. You're really good at looking outward and like noticing what other people need. And I really appreciate that about you.
Thank you.
My brain is like a little scattered right now because I'm like, Ledger was so upset when I left. So I'm like trying to focus right now, but that's where I'm coming from.
That's hard.
But one of the things that I was going to say about the computer in our hands all of the time was for me, I'm such an avid researcher that's a lot of times my knee-jerk reaction to anything is to research it. And so like Googling everything and consulting the Holy Spirit first because he knows all truth and he guides us into all truth and there's no limit to all. But how often do I put a limit to all by just like, but it takes a minute to ask and pray and sit and be still, right? It doesn't take any time to Google something. Yeah. But, in the realm of like concerns for my children, if I'm, racking my brain, like on the drive over here, I'm racking my brain. Is there something going on with Ledger? Is he okay? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I haven't even prayed about this. The Holy Spirit cares way more and knows way more. Why am I so slow to do that? Yeah. And so the minute my thumb is about to Google, I'm going to get on my knees and pray.
I love that. I think our intuition is God-given, which means if we want to be more in tune with our intuition over our children, we need to be more in tune with God. 100%.
Totally. It draws us all closer together.
It does. Okay, this is something I'm really bad at. An out that I have is like worrying about what's next. So I'll be sitting, and I hate this. This is a quality that I do not love about myself. I will be sitting at the table with my child and he's telling me a story and my brain is drifting off into like, okay, what's the next thing I need to do? Right. And that is something I don't have success with breaking yet, but like,
that's hard.
I'm trying really hard and to be intentional about it. And a couple of things I'm doing to help that is like when we're sitting together, I'm like, okay, what are all my senses feeling right now? Like, what can I smell right now? What can I see about my child? Like, what textures are on him? Like, can I see like stickiness on his fingers or like little tiny details about that? How does he feel? And that's been helping a lot. But yes, out thinking about what's next in actually sitting with the person that's in front of you, which I think also plays into like what our brains are because of our phones. Yeah. Because of like the constant scroll.
I know.
It's like, what's next?
We're like bored with reality.
Yeah. That's like, for sure. Perfect.
Yeah.
And I'm not bored with my children, so I don't want to treat him that way. Do you know what I mean?
No, it's just like reality to any capacity is slower paced. Yeah. Even like, have you ever been nursing and you're scrolling and then you are like, oh my gosh, I'm nursing. I should just look at my baby. And then you start looking at them and you're like, this is so slow. Yes. But we've programmed our brains to be so fast and so slow to any capacity. Even if we love the person that's in front of us, it just feels boring.
Yeah. And can I just say, I think a theme I'm seeing in the motherhood community of our generation, at least, is like out is the fast pace and in is the slow. Right. Like there's a lot of great accounts out there that are just like, take it in, like actually appreciate what's going on around you. Do things the slow way on purpose, which I think is why I like making bread so much. The sourdough bread. I know that's like a trend, but really it's healthy for you. So get over it.
It's so yummy. It's so good.
And also it takes so much time. Like I'm not having to do a lot, but it's taking forever. And I appreciate it more when I'm eating it. And I know it's nourishing my body more than the bread at the store. Yeah. You know what I mean? Totally. So the slow way can be really good. And I think
and like, I don't know. I feel like I've always had the tendency to be like, okay, hurry up. Even if we have nowhere to be, and just challenging myself to be like, what are we rushing
why?
for? Where do I need to be? If it
Mhm.
takes us 40 extra minutes to get to the store because you want to take 4 rocks
Mhm.
from our front driveway into the car with you, and you want to tell me all about each one, on like, who cares?
Mhm.
And I'm just trying to challenge myself with that, you know, like, let them help.
Yeah.
And let it take longer because it's supposed to.
Mhm.
She helped me prep our lunch for the week this week. We were making chili, and it took probably 3 times the amount of time. But she wanted to learn how to use the can opener, and she wanted to dump everything in, and she needed to learn how to rinse beans, and, you know, like,
Yeah.
and it took longer, and it was okay because
Yeah.
where else do I need to be? This is where I
Exactly.
am right now.
Right.
So I love that.
And even something that I used to do, because Noah and I both like to go to Target because we're super basic, and that's okay. But like planning enough time so that he can also just walk around and look at stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like his time is just as valuable as mine.
Yeah.
I think that's a big shift.
Yeah.
He's just as human as I am.
Right.
My time's not more important
I
than his.
know. And have you ever slowed down long enough to be like, to put yourself in their shoes long enough to see where they're coming from? I remember we were going to church or something. We were getting out the door. Come on, we gotta go. We gotta go. And Sunny kept saying, I'm coming. I'm coming. I'm coming. But she wasn't. And I wanted to be like, right now, we're leaving. Get out. But I decided to walk upstairs and just kind of, what is she doing? I got curious. She's packing her little purse for church full of all of her favorite little toys that she wanted to bring to church. And I just had this moment like, she is coming. And she's just packing her purse up.
Which is important to
the
her.
exact same way I would be packing a diaper up, telling Chase, I'm coming. Because I am. I'm just finishing what I'm doing in order to be able to come. And it just gave me a lot of empathy. Like, they know what they're doing, you know? And I'm not saying that there's never disobedience, but sometimes there's just a bigger picture.
Yeah. Do you know what I literally did just tonight? I had a really busy day. I cooked a lot of food today. I cleaned my house. I did laundry. I mean, I cooked 3 sourdough loaves, a loaf of cornbread, some cookies, a pot roast for a friend. I did a load of laundry. I cleaned my entire house because we have a contractor coming in tomorrow to fix some things around the house. I did homeschool. I've just done a lot. And it was the end of the day. It was like 30 minutes before bedtime. I'm just trying to clean up the house before Brady gets here so that he can take Lily and relax because he's also had a hard day. And the blanket that's on the back of the couch, I fold that blanket and put it on the back of the couch like 20 times a day. I folded it. I put it on the couch and I said, Noah, and Noah likes to take the cushions off the couch.
Oh my gosh.
And he likes to jump all over. So I told him, I said, Noah, please don't mess up the couch. I just fixed it and we're about to go to bed. Not even 5 minutes later, I turn around, he's taking the blanket off the back of the couch. And like literally my mouth opened because I was like, Noah. And he looked at me, he said, what? And he goes, I'm cold, Mommy. Can't I use a blanket when I'm cold? And I stopped myself because I'm like, yeah, that's actually real logical.
Right.
I'm the illogical one. And I'm like, yeah, baby, you can use the blanket. Like, even though inside I was like raging. And I had to like figure out, why am I so mad?
Why are we the same person like that? I'm the same way.
Don't touch the freaking blanket.
Like, God forbid you use the pillow for a pillow. Like, it's not what it's there for. Come on. And also that hand towel is not for wiping your hands off. Just leave it there.
I know. Go get a paper towel.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so one of the things that I would say is in for me is less decisions. So the amount of, like, I'll use the example of clothing. So I'm going to repeat the same outfit until I physically have to wash it. Yeah.
I already do that for me and my kids.
Or until I'm bored or until I don't want to wear it anymore. So it's one last decision I have to make. I've worn this dress like 3 days in a row now. Perfect. I'm probably going to wear it again tomorrow, probably again to church on Sunday, whatever. And it's just one less decision I have to make. Just like meal prepping every single week. I have the same breakfast every single morning and the same lunch every single day for the week. And I've been going on the same breakfast for like 2 months because I love it so much. But every week, those 2 decisions, they're made. And so I would say, out would be just like overcomplicating the little things. Yeah. Just making those decisions in advance and limiting the decisions I have to make when I'm overwhelmed.
Yep. I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, is it my turn? Okay, out. I feel like all of mine are the same because I told you I have like themes. Out is like planning my days around what needs to be done, and in is planning my days around my children.
Yeah.
and around their needs. Because I feel like a lot of times, I feel like I have a very large capacity to do things for other people.
Yeah.
And if someone tells me I need to be somewhere, I'm there. I'm like a golden retriever. I'm going to do what you tell me to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then sometimes my family takes a back seat to other people's families. And that's a very out for me this year. And is just figuring out, like, does Lily need to take her 2-hour nap in the house today? Okay, I'm going to stay home.
Right.
I'm not going to worry so much about the things that need to be going on.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, you're a giver for sure. Let's see. Out toxic crunchy lifestyle.
That was out for me in 2022 and it was the best freaking thing I've ever done.
I am so over even being associated with people who call themselves crunchy moms. I'm over it.
Yeah.
There is such a level of toxicity to that community right now that I don't even have the words for. So if you are one of those people, please let up on the judgment. Everybody's doing the best that they can.
Yeah.
And that is the reason I don't want to be associated, is I'm so not judgmental. I'm going to make the decisions that I want to make for my family. But if you make different decisions, I'm your number one cheerleader. And I think that I just want to, break free of that and allow myself to live a more balanced lifestyle. And make those compromises wherever I feel like I want to make them and not feel like I'm letting myself or my family down astronomically if we, do whatever that's not crunchy.
Yeah. And I feel, okay, so when you say the term crunchy, there's the thing that comes to my mind is there's no room for mistakes.
Yes.
There is no room for mistakes. And so in my community, when I was in practice, I had this whole group of friends all across the country. We all went to school together, or they were wives of chiropractors, and they all got into the makeup crunchy. Literally, it's called crunchy.
Oh, yeah.
CRUNCHI, I think.
Yeah.
And then they all started their Facebook groups. Makeup's great. You could literally eat it. I mean, and it's a beautiful makeup. It made my skin break out, so I had to stop because it has coconut alkane in it, which my skin is sensitive to. Not the point of the story. The point of the story was the brand Crunchy gave them all tools and resources and the most insane amount of research about literally any ingredient used in this country. So I, of course, joined those. I was pregnant with Noah, and I still have them on some of those pages, but most only because these people are my real good friends, because I had to unfollow all of them after I had Noah. And it was okay, I bought the thing they told me last month, but now this month
I know
it's not safe anymore. And it's something different. So I have to get rid of the $200 worth of products that I just bought, because if I don't, then I'm intentionally giving my kid cancer.
Yeah.
And that is
too
not
much.
okay. We unfortunately live in a time and place where profit is valued more than the health of the people that they're serving. And there's not much we can do about that.
Yeah.
We can vote with our dollars, go with companies that we like, and do our best or our almost best. It's okay though.
Yeah.
If everything in your life is not.
And I also just don't want to be seen as somebody that other people think that they need to conform to a certain lifestyle in order to be in the presence of.
Exactly.
Because, when you're, around somebody and they're like, oh, I'm so sorry. This treat or this snack has this in it. And they're saying it because they know that you normally, and that's almost sad to me, because I don't want to be known as somebody that they feel like they need to be in a certain box in order to be around. So anyways, that's,
do you know what I want to be known as? I want to be known as somebody who's similar to Christ.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And if you're in my house, I want you to feel nothing but welcomed and appreciated and loved. And that's what you would feel if you walk into Christ's house.
Right.
And I just don't want, don't be judgmental. I think is the whole point of that.
Yeah. Die on the hills you want to die on, and don't
for your own
expect
family,
everybody else to die on the same ones. Yeah. I was actually reading a verse this morning that was talking about judge not lest you be judged, or it's the verse about, now I'm going to forget it, not causing another believer to stumble because you're kind of projecting your convictions onto them. So you have a conviction about something and then you're so convinced that everybody should have the same conviction as you. And we forget that the Holy Spirit enters into each of our lives individually according to like what we need, our instructions, right? Like what we need to do, what we need to do differently or better or forget, whatever. And we have this temptation to think, oh, the Holy Spirit told me that, so that must mean this for all these other people. The Holy Spirit told me this about my child's health or this about my family's condition or whatever, so that must mean that he's telling everybody that. No, it's not. That's just not it.
And if you want to be angry at somebody, be angry at the company that doesn't care about you, you know?
Yeah.
Don't be angry at the moms who are just doing their best job and like maybe they need to go through the freaking Chick-fil-A drive-through for their sanity that day. Like it's going to be okay.
Yeah, I know. And it's almost like a mindset that I feel like I have to, I feel myself having to rewire certain paths of like pathways of my brain, which sounds so dramatic. I know. But when you're so consumed by it, it becomes such an idol and it becomes the lens through which you're living your entire life and making all of your decisions. So breaking up with that, in a sense, is work. So anyways, that is something I'm going to try to be more intentional about. I think for me would be getting it done, whatever it is, a project, an idea, a plan, just getting it done out would be the perfectionism of this needs to be perfect. I took a break. I took a break from writing my book for like 7 months and I was very sick when I was pregnant, but I think a part of it was just like, maybe I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe this isn't exactly the way I wanted to do it. And in this year, I'm like, I'm writing a page of my book every single day. And if I walk away thinking, that wasn't my best writing, that's fine. I have tomorrow and I'm not going to go back and try to rewire it and try to I'm just going to let it be what it is and just get it done, because otherwise it'll never get done if I wait for it to be perfect. Yeah. And that's with a bunch of things.
Done is better than perfect in 10 out of 10 situations.
Yes. I know you've been really good about helping me with that because
I'm going to get it done and it's going to be a mess, but it's going to be done. By the time it's supposed to be. But yeah, it's going to be a mess. There's going to be typos. There's going to be things that happen. I have out being selfish. Let me tie the end to it. Intentionally building my marriage and my friendships, because I feel like there are so many times where at the end of the day where I've poured everything into what I was doing that day and my husband comes home or I'm going to go out with a friend. I sometimes would rather put my audiobook in my ears, lay in my bed and not talk to anybody.
Totally.
But I feel like that's very selfish of me because especially right now in this phase, I feel like 6 months postpartum, which we're 7 months postpartum, but around 6 months postpartum, there's like this shift. You're either going to enter into a lifelong roommate phase or you're going to start actually taking steps to be a married couple again. Because the first 6 months after a baby, it's like, what the heck just happened to us? Let's rebuild everything. All of the whole foundation that we've been building over the last 6 years is totally cracked. We've got to rebuild all that. And now, 7 months postpartum, we're at a time where it's like, okay, we're either going to take steps in this direction or that direction. I'd rather be going that direction. Right. So, and it's the same way with friendships. I feel like postpartum, your friendships foundations are shaked too, because that is a time where you have to be selfish. Yeah. But for me at this point in time, I'm like, okay, I'm going to step out of that. And not like I'm going to run myself into the ground. Like I'm not going to give my energy to people or things that don't bring me life, but I want to be intentional with the words I'm using, with the actions I'm, doing, and make sure I'm building.
I love that. Yeah. I love that so much. It's always such a good reminder to hear that about marriage. I'm like, we're 2 months out and I'm like, wow, I don't even feel like we ever talk. See each other.
I know.
Because we've just now, and I feel like that's something that's hard when you go from 1 to 2 that not everybody talks about, is how often you're doing things separately.
You're dividing and conquering everything.
Yeah. You used to be able to tag team most things, and now we're lucky. And we have such high goals for this first quarter too. Like he's getting up and he's going to work out before he goes to work. So that's an extra hour and a half before work that we are now dealing with. And then I go to work out the minute he gets home. And then I get all the stuff out for dinner and he preps dinner while I shower. And then I'm feeding, and then it's like he's putting Sunny down, I'm nursing Ledger, and then
literally
it's just craziness.
I think I see Brady 20 minutes of the day and we're in bed. Yeah. Like Lily's right between us.
I know. And then that's the other thing. It's like half the time he'll be like studying because he has this big test coming up for his certification. He'll be studying. He'll come upstairs. I'm in bed. Sunny's in bed. Ledger's in bed. Both the dogs are in bed. And he's like, where do I even go?
I know.
So it's just chaos right now.
Yeah. 2 months is chaos, but I think you will get to a point where you have to make the decision to be like, okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I would say that for me is an abundance mindset, and out would be a scarcity mindset. So I think I've lived a lot of my life kind of to myself in my own kind of rhythms in my own head. I noticed that mindset throughout my life of, is there going to be enough for me? And in every capacity of my life, is there going to be enough? And, yeah, that could be like, even still, that could be as minuscule as like the bag of chips in the pantry, or, as big as like answered prayers. I don't know. It's just something that I've noticed in myself. And so I've been telling myself and everyone in my household, like, there's always more. There's always more. And I just feel like Christ said he came so that we would have life and life abundantly. Like, what does that mean? You know, just diving into that more. It doesn't mean we're living our lives with our fists closed and hidden behind our back because we're so worried that we're not going to have enough for the next day, whatever that is. For some people, that could be finances. For some people, that could be patience for their kids. For some people, that's, intentionality in their marriage, whatever it is. Just living in a place of like, we always have tomorrow, and there's more to be had, instead of just living, scarcity mindset. Out. I don't want that. I don't want that in my house.
No. And I think that also applies to like money. Because I think finances, it's okay to want a comfortable life. Yeah. And I feel like, especially as women, we're told we're not allowed to want that. And as Christians, we're not allowed to want that. There is enough money out there for everybody. You making money does not make somebody else more poor.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're not taking it away, because there is enough out there for everybody. That was a huge mindset shift for me and Brady, because it was like, and we had to go through coaching to get to that mindset of like, it really is okay that we make money to be comfortable. People are not suffering because of that.
Right.
But it can go in all aspects of your life, for sure.
Totally.
Every aspect of your life.
Yeah.
And I think that's such a more optimistic way to live, to view the world as there's so much out there. There's enough for me to have whatever it is that you want. Right. More freedom, more time, more money, more love, like more, I don't know, insert whatever it is that you want there.
Right.
We are here on earth to like gain a body, gain experience before we go back to be with our Father in heaven, right? And he doesn't want us to be down here just suffering. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, he's our Father. What do you want for your children? I think it's okay to want things.
Yeah, I do too. I love that. Do you have another one?
Not really.
No?
Not really.
I'm sure a lot of these go for you too, because we're so similar in a lot of these things. But for me, sacred Sundays, and I have a tendency to want to maximize our weekend time. You know, when your husband's working all week and you want to make all these fun memories on the weekends or plan all the things. I'm such a planner. I love to be like, okay, at 9 we're doing this, at 10 we're doing this, especially around the holidays, and there's all the fun things to do. So the sacredness of a Sunday and actually keeping the Sabbath, trying to learn what that looks like. Okay, so what if we just went to church and we just were together as a family, and we honored that to the point where we're literally saying no to anything outside of that? We do that. Yeah. We do that. There's been plenty of times. We go to, if it's not like, Sunday is literally about God and family. You know, one of the commandments is to keep a Sabbath day holy. What does that mean for you and your family? And what we call them, like in church, we've had talks about this and lessons, and it's, they're called like fence laws. So like the actual commandment is to keep the Sabbath day holy. And this is like this precious little gem right here. And then you create your own fences around that precious gem, which is the commandment to keep the Sabbath day holy. So what are your fences to keep your family safe? Yeah. And it could be like, for you, like we've had so many talks. I know like some people don't do laundry on Sundays. There's no housework on Sundays. Some people like we are only staying inside and we are not watching TV. We are, you know, it's going to be different for every family, but we have the fence law of like, family and God. That's it. I'm not, you know, running errands. We're not going to the store, because one of the other things that in my family is important is
the Sabbath day is holy because I prepare for it.
Mm-hmm.
So we make sure, like, I don't care if it's 9:00 at night on Saturday, I'm going to the store to buy my dinner for Sunday, and I'm going to prepare a meal for my family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. And I had actually listened to a sermon one time by somebody who was so passionate about the Sabbath. And she said one of the, I guess, fence laws that you said in their family is we're not going to work to any capacity, but then we're also not going to do anything that causes somebody else to work. So like, I'm not going to go get a pedicure. I'm not going to go to the grocery store because I'm, perpetuating this person that's working on it. And I thought that was interesting too. It's like, I'm not going to be the reason anyone's working today. I'm not going to be, and obviously it's like, obviously they're going to be, at the nail salon, whether you show up or not, but it's kind of the notion that I'm not contributing to that. Which I thought was really cool.
Yeah. What are you doing to make it special?
Yeah.
Because if it's not something special, and also like, what are you doing to make your kids excited for it?
Yeah.
Because like, I don't want Noah to say, oh, I gotta go to church today, which he's going to, teenagers, kids, they're going to do that. But like, what makes Sunday fun?
Right.
Why is it going to be like a mini Christmas every week? Or is it going to get like pulling your kids' teeth out to get them to church so they can get back to their normal life? Right.
Right. Maybe it depends on the church. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I was raised Catholic, and there were days where I'm like, it felt like you had to dress a certain way and talk a certain way and act a certain way and be a certain way. So if you weren't that certain way, you didn't belong, which is really confusing for a kid. Yeah. But anywho, I have 4 outs that I didn't have an in for, so maybe we could come up with an in.
Sure.
Out, imposter syndrome. I feel this, I think, the most right now with our podcast. I don't feel that way with, like, if I'm a wedding planner, if I'm a writer. I know I'm good at those things, and I say that just to say that in this situation, I have a hard time sometimes talking to all these other moms or building this community when I'm like, I feel like we're all in this together. I'm learning just like all of you are learning. And I never want to come across as somebody that knows it all or knows it better or is like more experienced at being a mom, because I'm not, like, we're all doing this together. And I hope that my heart is always coming across as humble when we have this podcast, because I never want to come across as like that I know more than anyone about being a mom. But the in for that, I don't know what that would be, because sometimes I'm like, why do I get this microphone? Why do I get this platform? Like,
I don't know why. I don't know why. I think honestly, like, I think with the messages we've received, with like there's so many coincidences where I'll post something and they're like, this is like literally what I needed today. I think that God has his hand in our friendship.
Yes, totally.
Like the way we became friends, it's like one of my favorite stories. It blows my mind.
I know.
And he has his hand in us starting this, and he has his hand on what we say to these women. Like, I think that he chooses people to be tools. Yeah. And I hope that, and I think that we've prayed for all of these moms. Yeah. And I hope that we can continue to do that, like be a tool in his hand. And I don't think that you need to feel the imposter syndrome thing.
I think it's the first time that I didn't even know what that term meant until Chase told me about it. He was reading an entrepreneur book or something. And I'm like, that's totally how I feel. Yeah. I cannot believe how fast this podcast has grown. I cannot believe how successful this has become in such a short period of time. And I'm like trying to learn how to navigate that. And so I think maybe just maintaining a posture of humility kind of counteracts that. Yeah. And then owning the things that like we are good at, the things that we are doing well, the things that the Lord is blessing, and owning that for what it is. Because actually another one of my outs is downplaying the good. So like downplaying the good in my life to make other people feel comfortable. Oh, yeah. I went through a long period of time where it was dark and it was the worst season of my life. And that's when we became friends. Yeah. I didn't recognize myself. I still look back on those videos and my heart just breaks. I don't think I genuinely laughed for a whole year. I was just in the dumps, and I'm in this season now where I feel like so many of the reasons why I was in the dumps have turned around, and I feel like there's so many good things happening in my life. And I found myself, depending on who I'm talking to, being like, oh, but I shouldn't say that. Oh, but I shouldn't say this. Oh, I know that like so-and-so's really wanted a house, so I'm not going to tell her I'm getting a new house. Or like so-and-so's really wanted her baby to sleep through the night, so I shouldn't say that mine is, or whatever it is. And I think there's an aspect of sensitivity that needs to be extended, but continually downplaying the good going on in your life isn't glorifying to the Lord, and it's not helpful, especially if you're going to be so forthright like I was about the bad going on in my life when it was bad, you know? Like praise him in the mountaintops and not just the valleys. And so I'm just
also if you have people in your life that can't celebrate with you when something good happens and they're not genuinely happy that you're doing well, maybe those people should be shaved back a little. I've got those people that like someone, you know, recently made the comment that I brag a lot. And it's somebody who's consistently mean to me. And like, it made me cry so hard because I'm like, I don't think what am I bragging about? And it's because I like posted something about our podcast, about the followers, and like, because I'm like so excited. I'm like, thank you. That was gratitude. Or like I post about how happy I am homeschooling, or I'll post about like, I don't know, the things I did today. Like, I'm not bragging.
No. But there's something to be said about sharing like joy.
That's what I'm doing. Yeah.
Totally. My sister texted me in a group text with my mom and her. We like have a group text just the three of us. And she was like, how are the Perrys doing? You know? And I sent her this long text because I just felt like I was on cloud nine. I'm like, I'm just so grateful that I have a baby. Like, I'm so grateful I'm out of the season of wondering if I'm ever going to have another baby. I'm so grateful that I've been able to start working out again. My incision is healed. It stopped bleeding. Like, we're driving down to our new house this weekend and I'm going to write verses on the wall. And it was this really long text, right? About all the things that were like kind of turning up and going right. And a few minutes later I texted and I'm like, I'm so sorry. That was a lot. Like I don't mean to be like braggy. I'm just really excited that I'm not in such a horrible season anymore. And anyways, I don't know. I feel like there's a distinct difference. And I think the people that are going to say it's bragging are probably just maybe not in the season where they can celebrate other people. And you know what? I've been there. I really have. But I think people who are simultaneously experiencing joy are just going to be like, oh, she's having a good time in life right now.
Seeing like, I don't want to be on Instagram and see all the bad stuff.
Yeah.
I've curated my feed to happy people. Yeah. They're happy people who love motherhood and love like the normal. They find so much joy in just the mundane. Yeah. And that's who I want to be around. Yeah. So like when I see someone like telling me about their new stuff, I'm like, get it. Like that makes me so happy. Too. And it gives me like hope. If it's something that I'm wanting and I don't have yet, it gives me hope that it's there. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I totally. Yeah. You're such a pure-hearted person. I just think sometimes, people have a hard time celebrating. I think you're completely right. But anyways, my mom actually taught me that. She's like, you do not. She's like, I spent so much of my life just downplaying all the good and all the blessings because I wanted everybody else to stay comfortable. But that's not glorifying the Lord.
Do you know what's out? Relatable mom things on like Instagram and all that, like the relatable mom culture.
Yes.
Not helping you improve, step into motherhood, be a better disciple of Christ, be a better daughter of God. Not. So that just what your mom said, that just made me think about it. You don't have to be relatable. I would say
the biggest complaint that I've ever gotten via social media, and maybe people who know me in real life, I don't know, is that I'm not relatable. Okay. I'm not sharing things like the way that I view motherhood must not be true because it's so positive and so joyful. And I'm not saying you have to go through hard things to appreciate good things. I'm not saying that at all. But in my specific situation, the birth that I had with Sunny, I still have occasional nightmares from. It was horrible. It was so scary. And it gave me an appreciation for her that I don't know if I would have had it or not. Truly, I don't know. I don't know what kind of mom I would have been. I was so grateful that I had every day with her. I still am, because there was a moment that I didn't think I would ever get to meet her. So I've lived from that place, and it's brought me into this deep, deep gratitude. And now with Ledger, a year ago, bawling my eyes out, knowing like I just lost 2 babies. I don't know if I'm ever going to have another baby, and spending a year sitting in that and not like having this like semicolon in your story of like, where are we going? Is it over? Is it just the beginning? All of these questions every single day, to holding him in my arms. You bet I am not going to care if he keeps me up all night. You bet I'm going to be holding him and rejoicing and worshiping the Lord, because thank you, God, that I got to have another baby. And that is the most genuine thing I have ever been able to say.
Yeah.
So to any mom out there that is judging, you don't know the full story. You don't.
Why would you want people in your life that don't inspire you?
Right.
You are my friend because you inspire me.
Mm-hmm. Same.
You know?
Yeah.
Right. We have things that we can offer each other.
Right.
We're not sitting here bashing our husbands, complaining about our kids, dragging each other down to be relatable to the point where we walk out and we hate our lives.
Yeah.
I walk away from an interaction with you like so excited to go be with my kids.
Me too.
Those are the friendships I want. Those are the people I want to follow on social media, are the people that make me grateful for my life.
Yeah, you don't need the reminder that like the hard things in life are hard, and you don't need to sit in misery with other people. Yeah. You need to be reminded of your purpose and why you're doing what you're doing, and you need to be able to appreciate the little moments enough to let it take over all of the hard.
Yeah. And that's not to say like if you're going through something that you need to be related to. That's why we became friends. We related to each other over a miscarriage.
Yes.
Totally. That is a different situation. But the day-to-day stuff of your life, you don't need to be related to. You need to be inspired about.
Exactly. Yeah. There's a time to really sit and feel the weight of the world in your hurt and in your struggle and in your grief, and to have a friend come alongside you and pull you out of that. There's another thing where you are stuck in a rut, in a pattern of just despising what you've been called to the point where you're just dragging all these other people down with you. Because if you're told from somebody else, I actually hate my life too, you just feel more comfortable in being hated, you know, or hating your life instead of being pulled out of that. Because it doesn't have to be horrible. This is our life. Our motherhood is our life right now. And someday, you know, when our babies are out of the house, like this is going to be what we have to tell the story of for 20 plus years of our lives. What is it going to be? Is it misery every day? You hate your life and you're complaining about the dishes? Or is it the mindset of, I get to, today I get to wake up next to my brand new baby. Today I get to change 5 diapers. Today I get to play princesses for the 45th time. Today I get to make all of this food and I get to do the laundry. Like, it's such a perspective thing. And that's what I tell so many people. It is all about how you view it.
100%. I was just literally going to say, what is standing between you and a happy life the majority of the time is your mindset.
Yeah.
You can't change that you have a colicky baby. There's lots of things you could do, but you can't change that your child is 3 and they're learning their boundaries and they're pushing against you and they're making you frustrated. Right. You can change your mindset about that. And that's what's going to make you happy. I think I would say, so my entire life I've been very optimistic, maybe to a fault, where I'm just like, yeah, we can do this. It's going to be fun. Let's create a podcast together. Let's just do it. And I think because, you know, not everyone in my family, my immediate family, has that mindset, and not everyone in my family lives the life that I do with happiness. And it's a lot of darkness. And I would honestly say that the biggest difference between me and those people in my family is my mindset about life. You can live a happy life, but you need some mindset coaching.
I know. Totally. Yeah. There's a quote that's like, wherever you're looking for good will be overflowing. And if you're looking for bad will be all that you see. Or you could grow to love or hate a person simply by what you choose to dwell on about them. So that goes for anything in your life. And I just think like, I remember this is the last thing. Oh, I guess we still have some time. And we had a little bit of a mishap. So
we did. I'm going to edit that out though.
Yeah. But I just remember talking to a group of moms at one point, and this happens often. I am kind of looked at like I have 4 eyes because I just talk like I genuinely love being a mom. And I said, this is truly the best life ever. I have this tiny little best friend that I love doing everything with. I have a car. I have a house. I have 2 puppies. My husband goes to work every day, and the world is my oyster. Like, we could go and do whatever we want to. We can eat whatever we want to. We can go experience. We can go hang out with friends. We can go get our nails done. And this is my life. Like, I can't believe it. I can't believe this is my life. And then like I get to nap with her. I get to stay up and have a second cup of coffee and read my book. I get to, you know, raise this human being that the Lord entrusted me with, who's so precious to him and to me. And there's just all these things that like they were just looking at me like, you must actually be crazy. And I know that it must sound inauthentic to some people, but I mean it from the depths of my heart. Like, this can be the most wonderful aspect of your life. And I hope we're not coming off as too like blah blah blah, but it's transformative once you just adopt the mindset, you know?
Yeah. And don't dwell on the things that are hard.
Yeah.
You guys, I threw my back out this week. I'm a freaking chiropractor. And thank God my husband's a chiropractor, because he's been taking care of me, and it hasn't been like so bad. But I was in the bathtub. I don't know what I did, but I threw my back out this week. It has literally been it's been awful pain to even like pick Lily up or set her down. Yeah. And I could have dwelt on that. I could have sat there. Oh, woe is me. My freaking back. This is awful. It's giving me a headache. And of course, Lily, today she was kind of whiny. I think she's getting closer to popping her teeth. She just wanted to be held. So I put her in the carrier. And there are so many things that could have made my day awful. Yeah. Because then I also filled it with all that cooking. I know. And cleaning and laundry. But like literally Brady came home and like, how was your day? And he's like, you know, he's a little overwhelmed with things going on in the office. I'm like, I had a great day. Do you want to see all the things I did? Yeah. But it could have been a really bad day because of the things that were hard. So it's not your mindset that life is good doesn't mean that things aren't hard. Right. We are here on earth to learn. We are going to be given trials. That's like kind of the whole point of us being here is to like grow and learn from hard things and become somebody different than who we were when we came. We can either have fun while we do it, or we can just hate life. Yeah.
And like, what's the alternative? Like, if you
You're miserable.
If you sit in that all day, every day, like, what is the alternative? That your kids aren't there, that they're not a part of your life, that you have to work every day instead of getting to stay home with your kids, ask yourself, what's the alternative? And is that any easier? Right? So if we don't have our kids and we go to work every day or whatever, fill in the blank, like walk yourself down that and be like, is that any easier? Is there more joy there? Because I think a lot of times where the harder the thing is, the more joy that comes from it. Yeah. You know? And I just think it's interesting that we think that motherhood is so hard and that's what we harp on all the time. But is marriage hard? Yeah. Is it worth it? Yeah. Is getting your college degree hard? Yeah. Is it worth it? Yeah. Is climbing that corporate ladder, if that's what you've always wanted to do, hard? Yeah. Is it worth it to you? Yeah. Like, is getting a puppy hard? Yeah. Is it worth it? Yeah. I just don't know anything that brings joy that isn't also hard.
Nothing worthwhile is easy.
No. Even your relationship with the Lord, like that takes effort. That takes fight. That's wrestling with those hard questions and experiencing trials and bringing them on. Like that's hard, but it's worth it. So anyways,
that was good.
Yeah. I don't even know if we need to get into any of the other. Oh, we were going to read other people's.
Oh, let's read other. I could told you they're all the same because we have a community of people that are very similar. And I love that about us. That is so great for us.
I can't believe we almost forgot that. It's okay. We still have some time. Okay.
You say sometime, but like every episode since I've been editing have been like an hour 13.
That's okay.
But now you're back in charge of the clock. So.
I know. I always like my goal with editing when I was editing was to get them under an hour. But now that was just a perfectionist thing. It doesn't matter. People will listen the extra 10 minutes. If they don't, it's okay.
It's okay.
Okay. So our friend Madison said in following your God-given intuition out, mom shamers. Mom shamers was on my out too. I just wanted to leave on the positive note we were on. But yeah, like let's stop judging other moms.
I know. And that's kind of like our motto, I feel like, is that we all have God-given intuition over our children, and my intuition over my child's very different than yours. And that's okay. I still love you and I still want to be your friend.
Genuinely. We really mean that. Yes. Like it does not matter what you do or don't do that is similar to us or different than us. Yeah. I still want to be your friend. Yeah. I still care about you. I still think you're doing the best that you possibly can.
100%.
Out comparing myself to other moms. That's what Aisha said. Accept the mess. I'm guessing that's an in. Accept the mess.
Yes.
In allowing parenting, especially new, to sanctify your marriage.
I like that because you can turn parenthood into this hard thing that drives a wedge.
Yep.
Or it's a mindset shift and it's intentional building of your marriage, but you can turn it into something that brings you closer together. It's kind of a choice.
Totally. Out the guilt of not parenting the way that other people expect us to, in trusting my instincts.
Yes. Do it.
Giving explanations for the way that I parent.
Yeah, stop.
Ooh, that's a good thing.
Stop doing that. You don't have to do that.
Yeah. I'm so bad at explanations. I think I feel so chronically misunderstood. I don't know why. I just feel misunderstood a lot of times. And so I feel like the more that I can explain my decisions or my choices, people will come to understand me more, or not judge me or not think poorly of me or whatever the case is. But I think it's kind of like an anxiety thing.
Yeah.
People who have anxiety, I think a lot of times over-explain, because they just want everything to be good.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like I over-explained everything with Noah, but now I'm just like, yeah, we go sleep.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Like, I could sit there and give them all of the
Yeah.
reasons why I do it,
Right.
but I like it.
Yeah. And maybe
This is what I do. I like
think I could work on that. Just like saying what it is and then just like closing my mouth instead of being like, well, we do that because blah, 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 blah.
Just when next time someone asks you why you do something, say, I like it. What are they going to say? What are they going to say to that?
Oh my gosh, I love this one. What's in baby wearing? Totally in.
It like globally or like for the United States, like the Instagram moms is totally in. And I love it. It's a great thing.
I know. And then there's like all the other countries that are like,
yeah, we've been doing this forever. It never went out.
That's literally like they can like wrap their babies up with like a blanket sitting on the ground and attach it to them.
I think in our generation, which I'm so proud of, is like back to the basics mothering.
Yeah.
Wear your baby, respond to your baby. Like, I don't know anybody that really like does like the cry it out thing.
Yeah.
Like, I know we all talk about let's not do that, but I don't really know that people do that anymore.
Right.
Yeah, it's just like intuitive mothering, but back to the basics.
I know.
And I love that about us.
That's true. Yeah, I really like that. What's out? Rice cereal.
Yeah.
That's
no, like
actually
literally.
so funny.
Didn't they find like? Isn't there a study saying there's like lead
so much heavy metals in all the baby food, which is so awful.
Bad.
It feels demonic to me.
Okay. You know, like those people that'll say like, oh, I can't believe in God because childhood cancer. Okay, listen, there are two forces on this earth.
Yeah.
God is not the only force here. You know, Satan is he is real. He is in this world we live in today. I can see him everywhere.
Yeah. And there's people who are sold out for Satan as well. There's people who are sold out on doing the work of him, like putting his cloak on and poisoning children.
Satan knows us.
Yeah.
He knows your heart. He knows like what's going to tempt you, what's going to get you to fall away. And he makes it look almost like a truth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like with all these things, like all of these companies that like legit don't care about our health, and our government who takes, you know, their pockets are so full of money from these companies that will like, the government's going to let them sneak in whatever they want. Like, that's not God.
Yeah.
That's not God.
And people forget that we also like have free will.
Agency.
That we can do whatever we choose to do. And that can really hurt ourselves, our kids, our family, our friends. And we can't always be like, oh, that was Satan or that was God. Like, no, you straight up decided to just like go watch porn. You straight up decided to go put drugs in your body. You decided to whatever it is.
Do you know what? You just said that and it just made me think. And I did a lesson with Noah this week and it was so cute. We watched this video because I was teaching about obedience, like in a godly way, obedience. And we watched this video and it was like this little kid. It's like, it looked kind of like he was wearing a headset and it's all animated and he's in a dark tunnel and his father is on the, like a speaker or something. And he's like, okay, I need you to make a left turn. The battery's almost dead. Like he's got to get out of the tunnel. And then, oh, but there's a big cupcake there. There's a big present there. There's an iPhone there. There's a video game console. He's like, you can make the choice to turn toward that distraction or you can make the choice to follow my lead and I'll get you out in time safely. Kind of like that's the voice of the Father. And there are a lot of temptations in our world. So what I did was I hid a bunch of like little gold treasures, like little fake little trinkets all over the house. And I told him to go find them by himself. And I hid them really well so he couldn't find them. Right. And then I said, okay, let's get walkie-talkies. And we walkie-talkie and I told him how to find all the things. And I put distractions everywhere that he could like a cupcake, like he could pass and like, ooh, I kind of want that. But then he wouldn't get the big prize at the end if he found all the things. And I just think like there are lots of temptations put into our way. I don't know how we got on this, but it was a really fun little lesson because we got on to why is obedience to the Lord good. And it's because that is how you live a happy life. And that's how you get out of this life safely back to him.
That's why I don't understand, like when people think that like a life in Christ is restrictive and it's all of these things that takes away from the fun and it's just too blah, blah, whatever. What I think is so interesting is first of all, we're not under the law. There's not these things you have to do in
No.
order to gain God's, no. But what he guides you into is always for your best interest. And when you look at even the commandments
and for your joy.
yes. If you look at even the 10 commandments or any call to action in scripture spoken out of Jesus's mouth, you as a loving parent would say the same things to your kids. You cannot tell me that you wouldn't tell them, okay, so why am I telling you not to lie? Because I know it leads to destruction.
Yeah. Why
Why am I telling you to be faithful to your spouse? Because I can understand the heartbreak that you would have to work through if that ended up being whatever, you know? And all of his commands, I just think they're so birthed in a place of love, of wanting to protect and preserve our hearts. And I think we just scoot past that and we're like, oh, he just wants us to follow all these things.
It's a restrictive life.
Right.
That's not a restrictive life. Actually following these rules, keeping myself safe and clean, like helps me live an extremely abundant and joyful life.
Yeah.
That I wouldn't
not
have without his
bogged
presence.
down by sin.
No.
Anyways. We just, if you're listening and you don't know the Lord, honestly, please always feel like you can come talk to us about it.
100%.
If you're listening and you do know him, then you're probably just laughing about how much we've reiterated the same things at this point, but definitely a passion of ours. So and truly the lens through which we are living our lives, and probably why we're able to enjoy
100%. And I get so excited when someone talks about Jesus, like, oh, I know him.
I know.
I want to talk about it.
I know. And I think it's so cool that you, like, we have family all over the world because of who Jesus is. You know, you're welcomed into a family, an eternal family. So anyways, I hope this was a fun podcast, an uplifting episode for everybody.
I think it was. Next week we're going to be doing Q&A.
Yeah.
Regarding resolutions. So we can, if we have time, we can tap on our resolutions, but we want to hear yours and we want your questions. Like, what are you struggling with? What do you not know how to do? What do you want our help with? And we'll help you to the best of our ability. And if we can't, we have this whole community of amazing women that we can open it up to.
Yeah.
So follow us on Instagram, the Motherhood Collective Co. Submit your questions. I will post that story box. I don't know. I like to do those next week. Wednesdays or something. If you don't have Instagram, you can email us at team@themotherhoodcollectiveco.com. Make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel, the Motherhood Collective Co. You're following us on Instagram. And make sure that you are following this podcast because we want you guys to get all the updates.
Also, last thing, if you ever want to leave a review for us, we would love that.
We are really bad at asking for things. Leave us a review.
I think someone left us a bad review or something because our ratings on Spotify went down.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, Chase was like, it was probably from our bed sharing episode, but
I think so. Whatever.
Anyways, if you listen to our podcast and you love it, it would honestly mean the world if you could leave a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts.
I like reading them. I read them the other day. I'm like,
you did?
I love all these women.
I can't even figure out how to read them on Spotify.
I don't know Spotify. I'm never on there. I'm just on Apple Podcasts. Yeah. I'll show you some of them. We don't.
We
would
love
now,
that.
But we would
really love that. I know that only takes a few minutes, and it's one of those things that really makes a huge difference. So,
yeah. All right, you guys.
Thanks.